Hello everyone. This week we are studying the fifth of 8 diversity issues, and that would be age and its relationship to design. The relationship between design and age can be viewed in many ways. We can look at the ways that our experiences change our perception of design environments, or in other words, how those environments age in our own minds. We can look at the ways that specific environments actually change the ways that we age, or we can think about the changes that result in the aging of the world itself. We also can consider the ways that we as humans age. Aging is both a reality and a concept. We are born, we age, we die. Exciting stuff. Nonetheless, how we think and act about aging has varied dramatically throughout time, culture, and geographic location. Many historians have argued that up to the modern period, the current idea of childhood simply did not exist. This view holds that sometime between 1600 and the 20th century, the idea of childhood was invented, and what we now think of as childhood would not have made sense to our ancestors. If you look at paintings from the Italian Renaissance, you might notice how the children appear to be little adults, a sign of the ways that things might have been viewed. Likewise, ideas about what defines a person as old have dramatically changed across cultures and time. Some cultures revere the elderly as sages, the wise ones. Others consider older people to be burdens on society. Life expectancy rates have dramatically increased. For example, when Social Security was implemented in the middle of the 20th century, the life expectancy of a male living in the U.S. was 65. The retirement age, surprise, surprise. Today, that number, the number of the life expectancy for the average male living in the U.S. is 76.4. Now just think about the implications of this. What other aspects of 21st century living have altered our perceptions of the very young, the old, and the very old? The materials for this week are quite varied and take on these multiple understandings of age, especially as they are affected by design. We start with a lovely chapter on childhood and design from the New York Museum of Modern Art, the exhibit that was entitled "The Century of the Child, Growing by Design." This chapter illustrates how progressive design has affected the physical, emotional, and intellectual development of children, and conversely, how some of the things that we design for children have inspired experimental design. Next, we will read a chapter from the Diversity in Design book that shows an example of how good design intentions can have negative, unintended consequences. In this situation, the author discusses a particular housing project for older individuals in an urban area. Then we're going to move on to 2 TED Talks. It seems like they are your favorite these days. One which discusses design strategies that reintegrate older individuals into social settings that require their unique skills, wisdom, and expertise. And the other, which takes us far away from our current understanding of humans and introduces the concepts of aging and existence at a much larger scale of time and space. And perhaps the whole concept in this particular situation of aging would be obsolete. You will then take the quiz and participate in our weekly discussion group. This week's discussion puts you into the role as a designer and asks you to help solve a real-world current problem, and it also asks you to speculate about the future in terms of the design of us as a species. Then look at the something interesting category. I've added the website about the MoMA exhibit on children at the bottom if you're interested in knowing more about this very comprehensive look at how design and concepts of childhood are so very connected. Now before I leave, I've got a few logistical issues. First of all, I want to give you a little bit of an update on the billboard competition. We are waiting for the advertising company to make the final selections, and then we will move forward. Some of your projects have yet to be graded, and that is my fault. I apologize for that. And we are doing our very best to finish this week. Then I want to give you a little bit of an update about Project 2. Look for a notice this week that introduces you to Project 2. I also want you to know that Project 2 and Project 3 are related to one another. In fact, Project 2 is kind of a part 1, and Project 3 is a part 2 for this project. And ultimately, the Project 2 will be due before the end of the semester, and the Project 3 will be due after the final day of classes. Okay, today is Dingus Day, and for those of you who don't know what that is, I suggest that you look it up. Buffalo has the biggest and most extensive Dingus Day in the United States. I also want you to enjoy your week and celebrate new life in all of its forms. Thanks, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.